My name is Rose. I am 26 years old. I live in a small town in the India. When I was young, I wanted a happy life. I wanted to get married. I wanted one or two children. I wanted a small house and a good man. I thought love was easy, but I was wrong. I met David when I was 22. He was 25. He was tall. He had brown hair and blue eyes. He was funny. He smiled a lot. He liked to talk. We met at a friend's party. He asked for my phone number. I gave it to him. The next day, he sent me a message. He asked, "Do you want to meet for coffee?" I said, "Yes." We met in town. We talked for a long time. I liked him. After that, we saw each other many times. He made me laugh. He gave me flowers. He called me every night. After 3 months, I told him, "I love you." He said, "I love you too." I believed him. We were together for 1 year. I worked at a grocery store. David worked at a car repair shop. We did not have much money, but I was happy. Then something changed. One day, I felt sick in the morning. I thought I had a cold, but the next day, I felt sick again. My best friend Jenny said, "Maybe you are pregnant." I said, "No, I don't think so." But I was not sure. I bought a test. I waited. The test showed I was pregnant. I was shaking. I looked at it. I was pregnant. That night, I went to David's apartment. I looked at him and said, "I have news." He looked at me and asked, "What is it?" I said, "I am going to have a baby." He was quiet. He looked at the floor. He did not speak for a long time. Then he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, I did a test. I am sure." He stood up. He went to the window. He looked outside. He did not look at me. "This is not a good time." He said, "I am not ready to be a father." I felt cold. I felt sick. I said, "But we love each other." He said nothing. He just said, "I need time to think." That night, he did not hold me or kiss me. I could not sleep. In the morning, he left early. He said, "See you later." But I knew something was wrong. After that, everything changed. He stopped calling me. He stopped answering my messages. He did not want to see me. One day, I went to his apartment. I knocked on the door. He did not open it. I sent him one last message. He replied, "I can't do this. I am sorry." That was the last time I heard from David. I sat on my bed and cried. I cried for hours. I could not believe it. I was pregnant and alone. I told my mom and dad. My mom cried with me. My dad said nothing. Then he said, "We are here for you, Rose." I moved back to my parents' house. I felt like a child, but I was not. I was going to be a mother. Every day I felt more tired. My belly grew bigger. I went to the doctor. I saw my baby on the screen. I heard a heartbeat. I smiled and cried at the same time. I worked at the grocery store until the baby was born. I bought small clothes and a crib. I wanted to be ready. One night, I had strong pain. My mom took me to the hospital. The nurse said, "You are going to have the baby tonight." I was scared. The pain was very strong. I held my mom's hand. After many hours, I heard a small cry. The nurse said, "It's a girl." They gave her to me. She was small. She was soft and warm. I looked at her and smiled. I said, "Hello, baby. I am your mom." I named her Hema. She was beautiful. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. Then I went home. My mom helped me with Emma, but at night it was just me and my baby. Hema cried a lot. I was very tired. I did not sleep much. I changed her diapers. I fed her. I held her when she cried. Sometimes I sat on the bed and cried too. I was very tired, but I looked at her small face. I kissed her head and said, "I love you." David never came. He never called. He did not ask about Emma. One day I saw him in town. He walked past me. He looked at me, then looked away. He said nothing. I wanted to shout. I wanted to ask, "How can you leave your baby?" But I said nothing. I just looked down at Emma in her stroller. When Emma was 5 months old, I went back to work. My mom watched her when I was working. I missed Emma every minute, but I needed the money. At work, I smiled and said hello to customers. I carried boxes. I stood on my feet for hours. When I got home, I was tired, but Hema needed me. I cooked dinner. I cleaned the house. I fed Hema. I bathed her. I put her to sleep. I never stopped. One night, Hema was sleeping. I sat in the kitchen and drank cold tea. I looked at the wall. I felt tired but strong. I told myself, "You are tired, Rose, but you are doing okay." I smiled because I was now a mother. Hema grew fast. She smiled more each day. When she was 6 months old, she sat by herself. She played with her toys. I watched her and smiled. Sometimes I cried too. I was proud of her. I was also tired. Every day was busy. I worked, cleaned, and cared for Emma. But she gave me strength. I did not have many friends. My old friends did not visit much. They had busy lives. They went out at night. They posted happy pictures online. I stayed at home. I watched cartoons with Hema. I sang to her when she cried. I told her, "You are not alone. I am here." My mom helped me a lot. She held Hema when I took a shower. She made dinner when I was tired. My dad did not talk much, but he played with Hema. He made her laugh. I was thankful for my parents. Without them, life would be harder. Sometimes I saw David in town. He never said hello. He just walked past. One day, Hema was in my arms. David looked at us. He looked for a second, then walked away. I held Emma closer. I kissed her head. I told myself, "You don't need him. I will give you everything." Money was a big problem. My job at the grocery store did not pay much. I bought only what we needed: baby food, diapers, warm clothes. I did not buy clothes for myself. I wore old jeans and simple shirts. I did not care about how I looked. I only cared about Hema. At work, I was quiet. I did my job. I smiled at customers, but inside I was tired. My feet hurt. My back hurt, but I always said, "I am okay." When Emma was sick, I stayed home. My boss was not happy. He said, "You can't miss so many days." I said, "My baby needs me." He said, "Be careful. You need this job." I felt scared. I did not want to lose my job. I needed it for Hema. At home, Hema started to stand. She held the side of the sofa and smiled. She looked proud. I clapped and said, "Good job." She laughed. Her laugh made me happy. Her laugh made the house warm. One evening, Hema had a fever. Her head was hot. She cried and would not eat. I called the doctor. He said, "It may be a virus. Keep her cool and give her water." I held her all night. I did not sleep. I was afraid. I sang soft songs and said, "Please get better." In the morning, she still had a fever. My mom said, "Let's go to the clinic." We went. The nurse gave Hema medicine. She said she will be okay. I felt better. I kissed Hema's warm cheek. Hema got stronger. She started walking at 13 months. She fell many times but got up again. I clapped for her. She smiled with all her teeth. My heart was full. I said, "You are so brave." Time went by. Hema turned 2. She started to talk more. She said, "Mama, ball and milk." She liked to dance. She liked to play with socks and shoes. I laughed when she put her tiny foot in my big shoe. She looked serious. One Sunday, I took her to the park. She ran on the grass. She saw other children. She waved at them. One boy gave her a toy car. She smiled. I sat on a bench and watched her. The sun was warm. I felt peaceful. Then I saw David again. He was at the other end of the park. He was with another woman. She had red hair. They held hands. I looked away. I did not want Emma to see him. She did not know him. He was her father, but he was not in her life. That night, I thought about that moment. I did not cry. I just looked at the wall and sat on the bed. I thought, he chose to walk away. I will not wait for him. I will not beg. I looked at Hema. She was asleep. She looked safe and happy. I whispered, "You have me, and that is enough." A few days later, I got a letter from the housing office. They said I could get a small apartment. It was not big, but it was mine. I felt excited. I packed our things. My mom helped me. We put Hema's toys in a box. We folded our clothes. My dad drove us to the new apartment. The apartment had one bedroom, one bathroom, and a small kitchen. The walls were white. The floor was clean. I put Hema's bed near mine. I put a photo of us on the table. We ate dinner on the floor that night. We had toast and tea. Hema laughed and dropped a spoon. I picked it up and smiled. I said, "This is our home now." In the new apartment, life was quiet but hard. I worked. I took care of Hema. I paid rent. I cooked simple meals. I read bedtime stories. Hema liked books with animals. She liked the one with the blue bear. She said, "Bear is funny." I kissed her and said, "You are funny too." Some nights I felt lonely. I missed talking to someone. I missed hugs, but I never missed David. I did not want someone who left. I wanted peace. I wanted love that stayed. One day at work, a woman came to my checkout. She had a baby in a stroller. She looked tired like me. She smiled and said, "It's hard, isn't it?" I smiled and said, "Yes, but they are worth it." She said, "You are doing a good job." Her words made me feel good. That night, I told Hema, "You are my sunshine." She smiled and hugged me. I was still tired. I was still poor, but I was not broken. I was strong. I was a mother. Hema was now 3 years old. She could talk more. She asked many questions. She asked, "Why is the sky blue?" Where do birds sleep? I smiled and answered simply. She was smart. She liked to learn. She liked to sing and dance. Her laugh was my favorite sound. We had a simple life. We lived in our small apartment. We had a routine. I woke up early. I made breakfast. Hema ate slowly. She always wanted one more spoon of yogurt. I took her to daycare near our home. Then I went to work. Every day was the same, but I did not mind. I had peace. I had my child. I had a reason to wake up. At night, Hema sat on my lap. I read her stories. She always asked for the same book about the red bus. She said, "The bus goes beep beep." I laughed. I kissed her and said, "Sleep now, baby." She closed her eyes and held my hand. Sometimes I looked at her face in the dark. I thought about the past. I thought about the pain. I also thought about the love. My life was not easy, but I was proud. One day I got a letter from Emma's daycare. It said, "Emma is ready for school next year." My eyes filled with tears. School? My baby is growing up. She is not a baby anymore. I told her the news. She clapped and said, "School? I want a pink bag." I smiled. "You will get a pink bag and new shoes," I said. That weekend we went shopping. We looked at school bags. Hema touched each one. She said, "Too big, too small." Then she saw a pink one with stars. She held it and smiled. We went home. Hema wore the bag inside the house. She walked around like a little student. I laughed. I felt happy and sad. I was proud of her, but I also felt scared. She was growing so fast. Time went by. Hema turned 4. She was taller. Her hair was longer. She made friends. She said, "Mom, my friend is Dia. She has a dog." I said, "That's nice." She asked, "Can we get a dog?" I said, "Maybe one day." I worked more hours now. My boss gave me extra shifts. I said yes to everyone. I needed more money. I wanted Hema to have more. Sometimes I felt tired, but I always told myself, "You can do this." Rose. One Friday, I came home late. My mom was there. She watched Emma that evening. I took off my shoes. Hema ran to me. She said, "Mommy, you are home." I hugged her tight. My mom smiled and said, "She missed you." I looked at my daughter and felt something deep inside. After my mom left, I made tea. Hema played with her doll. Then she looked at me and asked, "Mom, do I have a dad?" My hand froze. I looked at her. I sat next to her. "Why do you ask?" I said. She said, "At school, my friend said her dad picks her up. Do you have a dad too?" I felt a little pain in my chest. I held her hand. I said, "Yes, you have a dad, but it does not live with us." She asked, "Why not?" I said, "He made a choice. He did not want to stay." She looked at me with soft eyes. She said, "But I have you." I smiled and kissed her head. "Yes," I said, "you have me, and I will never leave." That night, I cried a little in the kitchen. I cried quietly. I did not want her to hear. I just needed to let it out. One evening, a woman from Amos School came to talk to me. She said, "I am Amos' teacher. She is doing well. She is kind and curious." I smiled. The teacher said, "You are doing a good job. She is a happy girl." Her words stayed in my heart. I was trying my best. Maybe my best was enough. Hema started school that year. She wore a new uniform. She held my hand tightly on her first day. I said, "You are brave. You will do great." She asked, "Will you wait for me?" I said, "Yes, I will always wait for you." She went into the classroom. She looked back and waved. I smiled and waved back. Then I sat on a bench outside. I cried again, not because I was sad, but because I was proud. Our life was still simple. I still worked long hours. I still counted every coin, but I had a little girl who smiled at me every morning. She said, "Good morning, Mom," with joy. That was more than enough. One Sunday, Hema and I went to the park. She ran and played. I sat on a bench and watched her. A man sat next to me. He said, "Is she your daughter?" I said, "Yes." He said, "She looks happy." I smiled. I said, "She is." He said, "That's all that matters." I looked at Hema. I thought about everything: the tears, the nights alone, the fear. Then I looked at her bright smile, her strong little legs, her big eyes. Yes, I thought, she is happy, and I did it all alone.